If you have a big goal, like maybe you want to find a new job, change careers, get that promotion, or a big career goal in general, but you're struggling to find the time with your busy schedule, then this week's training video is for you, as I explain how I found time to write a book, to publish it, edit it myself, format, I'll do all of the marketing, all the things, and published it myself. So stay tuned. See you on the other side. Hello, my name is Sara, and I am a certified career and leadership coach and indie author. I help people find their dream jobs where they make more money, they work less hours, and they finally feel fulfilled and happy doing work that they love. Now, if you saw my video last week, you know that I recently published a book. And that I was letting all of you YouTube subscribers and anyone else who comes across these know. Now, I talked about that this last week. I'm talking about it a little bit this week, but just as an example, to help you find the time for your big, scary, audacious goals. But generally, I'm usually on here with career advice, job search advice, career change advice, all of the advice. So if that's you, don't forget to hit subscribe so that you don't miss a single training video. Okay, so I wrote a book. It's like 80,000 pages. Can you imagine 80,000 words? And in this copy, this is like a proof copy. How many pages is this? 339. So it was a book. It took some time. I started writing this in October 2022. And I went through the entire editing process, and every single edit. So I didn't realize how many edits a book needed to go through, formatting it for print and for ebooks. The death of me. And all of the marketing and setting up marketing for this. So this is a time-intensive hobby. Now, when you're looking at a new job or getting a promotion or wanting to change careers, it also takes a lot of time. And we really struggle oftentimes, to find it. So here is how I was able to manage my time so that I could write and publish a book. I've already written book 2. It's in editing stages right now. I'm halfway through book 3. I'm just pausing on writing that because I've been so busy with this. And because I'm an indie author, I don't have traditional pub telling me when I need to have deadlines by. So it's not just like one and done. There's a series, and they're all standalone romances. All take place in this fictional seaside town that I created, Haven Cove. So there's more to come. So this is something that there is more to. So let's get into it. I've been rambly. Sorry. I'm excited about this stuff. Okay. So the very first thing I did was I treated this like a goal. Now, we know in theory that things are goals. We know in theory we want to work out more or eat better, or we want to start knitting, or we want to find a new job. Like, we know in theory that these are goals, but we don't often treat them like goals. So I treated it like a goal. Like, I got serious about it. So if you have a goal like finding a new job, I want you to treat it like for what it really is, a goal. Not just something you want to do, but something you want to achieve, something you want to accomplish. And then from there, I followed like the steps you would follow when you set a goal. I created a plan. So the plan I created was malleable and flexible. It looks different for each book. It looks different for each phase of writing each book, like for the writing and editing. Just like in a job search, your goal plan would look different depending on the stage. If you're in discovery to figure out what kind of job it is versus resume writing versus like applying and networking versus interviewing versus kind of doing it all at the same time, which there's sometimes that stage in job searches. But a plan needs to be able to like shift and pivot and adapt, but you need to have a plan in the first place. So sitting down and creating a plan was like the best thing I did. It also kind of told my mind that this is something I wanted to take seriously. I set deadlines, and I think it's a really good idea to set deadlines for yourself. So I would have, I'm trying to think, that feels a long time ago when I finished this one. No, I definitely did have a goal. I started writing it in October 2022, and it took me a bit. So it took me about 6-ish weeks to like start it, to treat it seriously, because what I was realizing with how much I was writing, that if I were to want to publish this book, that it would take me 3 to 5 years. It would take me a long time. So once I created a plan and then set deadlines, it made it easier for me to be focused and sit down and do the work to create it. So at that point, I had created a deadline to be done by, think it was end of March 2023, so that it would be done. And I think I met that. I might have finished at March break of 2023, so like 2 weeks early. It was fun, but setting deadlines helped keep me accountable and kept me motivated as I was going through it. Okay, step number 4 is I scheduled my time in. So I'm a big scheduler the week in advance. And I'm also a big creating structures and habits and routines. So for instance, because I am still a runner, like that's the thing, is I still do, like in November 2022, I ran 30K as a trail run that I did for myself. I didn't do any big event last year because I spent a lot of it in recovery from some injuries. Not really from running, they were old basketball injuries. And then this year, I'm planning on running another 21K in November in a couple of months. So I am still and I work out about an hour a day. I need to work out for my sanity. So I know generally when my working out time is, when my family time is, when my work time is, when my writing time is. So I know generally what that looks like every week. But I like to, usually on Sundays or Monday mornings, I like to then get specific. So I look ahead, does anything need to change? Does anything need to switch? And do I even need to be more flexible? Like for book 1, I had a 5,000 word a week goal. And I would look, is this reasonable? Can I meet this week? Or do I need to adjust it? Or can I do better? Do I think I have capacity to try and do 6,000 or 7,000 words? So really taking it a week at a time and scheduling it in so that I knew when I was going to get to this goal. And then step 5, the hardest step, is I was accountable to myself most of the time, like I'm human. When I said I was going to write, I generally, more than 50% of the time, at least 75% of the time, I actually sat down and did the writing. Now, this is the hardest step. The treating it like the goal, the plan, the deadlines, the scheduling it in, especially if you're a structure person or a planner, that's the easy stuff. The hardest is being accountable. Now, here's one thing I remember seeing at some point last year is that concept of busyness. Like, my life is too busy right now. I'll wait until things get less busy. Well, I was like that. I kept thinking when things get less busy, then I will tackle this, then I will do this. But I realized last summer, 2022, I guess it was not last summer, 2 summers ago, that, life was never going to get less busy. was going to get different busy, but never less busy. So if I really wanted to do this, then I was going to have to actually think about it. And I was actually going to have to commit to it. And I was actually going to have to sit down and do it. So if you're going through that, things will be less busy, it probably will never get less busy. Caveats for obvious reasons. If we have a sick family member, if you're going through a burnout or a mental health or your own health crisis or challenges, or a child is, there are the caveats for the certain types of busies that really I hope are just seasons and that will end. But generally our lives are pretty busy, and if we want to do something, then we need to prioritize it and we need to do it. And so that was one of the things that I really kept focused on, was being accountable. Now, as I am into book 3, I do struggle. Like, the first time you do something is always the best. I found this with running. The first time I would do a half marathon, or the first triathlon I did, like, it was so easy to train for them. The second time was less easy to train for them, and not the actual doing of the race. I actually find that easier because you have the foundation. Just like the writing is easier because I have the foundation of writing now, but the motivation to do it has changed because you've already gotten that massive rush of dopamine the first time you've accomplished it. So I do find it more difficult to be accountable to myself, which is why I'm continually, step 5, reminding myself why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I am a storyteller. I have loved actually writing this stuff down. I've loved editing. I've loved, like, from the line edits to the developmental edits to, like, destroying my document and changing the entire story. I love hearing feedback from my beta readers on what can be improved and what they loved about it, what resonated with them. And I can't wait, and I hope to hear that from actual readers as well, the things that they loved and how this resonated with them. And these are things that, like, if I don't do this now, I'm always going to think. I come across the indie authors who are in their 20s and 30s, and I wish that was available to me because it wasn't really available, or if it wasn't, because maybe in my 30s it probably was. I wish I just had the courage to do it, because then I could be like 10 years on instead of 1 year on. So I remind myself of why and the regret I would feel if I didn't do it, and how these characters I've created, I just want them to have their life, I guess, and on page. It's weird, but reminding myself of why helps me keep accountable, helps keep me determined, keeps me motivated. So if you have a big audacious goal, whether it's writing a book, starting a business, finding a new job, doing a career change, running your own trail half marathon or marathon or all, whatever the big goal, sewing your own dress, whatever it is, I want you to follow these steps. I'm going to treat it like a goal. I'm going to create a plan like you would a project plan. I want to set deadlines for yourself. I want you to schedule it in every week. And I want you to be accountable to yourself and actually do it when you said you were going to do it most of the time. And I want you to continually remind yourself why you're doing this, why it's important to you, why it lights you up, why you set this goal in the first place. Okay, so it's out. If you want to grab a copy, the links are below. If you have any questions about time management and goal setting, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions about the book writing process and indie process, ask away. Let's meet in comments. Let's help each other accomplish our goals. I'm Sara Curto, certified career and leadership coach, and now published indie author. And I'll be here next week with a purely career and job specific training for you. I will see you then. Bye.
If you liked this video, then I invite you to join me in the Find Your Dream Job program, where you work less, make more money, and finally feel fulfilled doing work that you love. Find out more at www.saracurto.ca/CYLA. See you there.